Well, the U.S. State Department says that Iran is accountable for the safety of Americans held at the Evin prison after a fire and clashes erupted at the Tehran facility. Reports now say that 4 people have been killed and 61 others injured at the facility in northeastern Tehran, known for its infamous treatment of political prisoners and foreign detainees. State Department spokesperson Ned Price saying that Washington is following the incident with urgency. Hundreds of those detained during the demonstrations over Mahsa Amini's death have reportedly been sent there. The events at the prison on Saturday night come as the protests entered their 5th week, and chants of death to the dictator, one of the main slogans of the month-long demonstrations that have flared over the death, could be heard in the background of the video. Let's take a listen to the U.S. President Joe Biden on all of this.
The Iranian government is so oppressive. You can't have anything but an enormous amount of respect for those people marching in the streets. I mean, I have to admit I was surprised, not by the response. I was surprised by the courage of people and women taking the street, taking off their heads. I mean, it's really been amazing. It's really been amazing. But they're not a good group in the government.
Let's bring in Camelia Entekhabifard, the editor-in-chief of the Independent Persian in Dubai. Good afternoon to you. Let's start off with the unrest at the prison as protests over Mahsa Amini's death enter the 5th week. More than 220 people dead in those protests, many more than that arrested. What is the latest in terms of government response to this revolution?
Thank you very much for hosting me today. I would like first have my comment about President Biden's comment on last night's fire in the prison. He was speaking about warning of American Iranian detained in Evin notorious prisons. We have to hear from the U.S. president, which he is worrying about all the people's life inside of the Evin prison, about all the Iranians are taking the street and risking their lives. And this biggest democracy on earth, the United States, has to be support and stand with the Iranian people. And it shouldn't be only by words. He has to make the regime accountable. The United States has power in the Security Council at the United Nations, and President Biden have to ask for a special meeting by his representative at the Security Council to make Iran representative at the UN accountable. And speaking about the last night and the 5th weeks of the protest, definitely the regime cannot control it as much as it lies, as much as it's denying people's demand, their rights to protest for the changes. This gap and this demonstration becomes wider and wider. As soon as they hear the demonstrators' demand, they let an associate member of the associations, for example, from the students, the laborers, the teachers, the people who are at the street and chanting death to the dictator, they may have to adhere to them in order to stop this bloodshed. First, they have to negotiate with this protest. We need to see the words making Iranian diplomats outside of Iran accountable, call them, expel them. And we need to hear the international media hearing Iranians. To be honest with you, we don't know exactly how many people killed last night in Evin prison, since they have all those medical facilities inside of the centers. We don't know how many people died, how many people are badly injured, and how they have killed. This morning, first, the story was some of the fugitive prisoners walking inside of the mean fields outside of the prison. But we know that there was a huge gunshot last night too. And then they changed their stories and they said the suffocation from the smokes killed 4 people. There are lots of stories. We don't know about it. We need to have the Red Cross become involved, go to Iran and investigate about the deaths of the protesters, about the incidents last night happened in the Evin prison and the other people who has been injured.
You mentioned that you want the United States and the international community to perhaps hold a Security Council session and hold Iran accountable. But what does that look like in your opinion? How can they really hold the regime accountable?
They need to shame them. They need to make them accountable, which whole world hear Iranian stories. I remember years ago when Boko Haram, the terrorist group, has been seized the school and kidnapped the school children. Whole people stand with them, including Michelle Obama at that time, the First Lady of the United States. They attacked the students' school in northern Iran, the city of Ardabil, and one student killed. They were saying she has a heart problem. How come a person, when she was 9 and 10, she was a championship of swimming, and now she was suffering of the heart attack? The family of these people who killed, who are in prison also, they are under detention. They are under pressure to have those lie confession on camera. All of these are crimes. The United States has power in the Security Council to have Germany, they have the UK and others to hear. We understand that the China and Russia may block any statement or any resolution wants to come from the Security Council, but at least that has been built an international pressure on the regime, and the G7 countries, the European countries, have to expel Iranian diplomats from Iran to make them accountable against of what they were doing today in Iran.
Camelia Entekhabifard, the editor-in-chief of the Independent Persian in Dubai, joining me live this afternoon to discuss all of the aftermath from the Mahsa Amini protest. Thank you.